Hi. So we'll start the session now. Meanwhile, if anyone willing to join, they will join in the meanwhile. So I'm going to be the presenter for today, and I'm Dattatreya Kumar Tadepalli. So I'm the one who is going to take the classes of trade and logistics from Visualpath. So I have a PowerPoint presentation for you all today. So I'll share that PowerPoint screen over my screen, and then I'll start my session for today. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll share my screen. So I have shared my screen. If it is not visible, please unmute yourself and let me know. If it is visible, that's fine. And I will be more happy if you people make this session as an interactive session. Interactive session in the sense whenever I requested to let us know your view, then I mean, you can unmute yourself and let us know your view on the question that I'm asked. Okay. So Um, let's start then. So I'm Dattatreya Kumar Tadapalli. So I'm into this ERP field exclusively on this Dynamics 365 and the earlier versions of Dynamics 365 from 2014. Okay, so I have started my career in 2014 from previous version of Dynamics 365, that is AX 2009. Okay, and then I have worked on AX 2012. Okay, R2, R3 versions also have worked, and then I'm into this Dynamics 365 from 2018. Okay, so I have close to 10 years of experience on this ERP field, and then um I have started my giving trainings on Dynamics 360 from 2018 only. So from this past 6 years, I have given training to over more than 200 people in this last 6 years of time, and that's it. That's it about me. So I'm going to the next one. Today I have certain topics to discuss in this particular demo session. So I have given some names here, but uh, I can tell you three things to you. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand what is this Dynamics 365 finance and operations. And if you learn this particular trade and logistics course of Dynamics 365, what you will become. I mean, what will be your role in IT and what are the responsibilities that are associated with your role. This is the second point that you will come to know, and the third point would be um, as a part of our training what we are going to learn. So these are the three understandings that I promise to give you all people by the end of this session. Okay, of course I have mentioned some topics here as an agenda, but I'm not interested to read all those things because anyway you will see in the upcoming um, slides. So we will move on to the next slide, but I told you, right, these three, the clarity on these 3 points. First one is um, what is this Dynamics 365. Second point is what you will become after learning this trade and logistics course of Dynamics 365. I mean, what will be your role in IT, and what will be the responsibilities that are associated with your role. This is the second one, and third one is about our training details, what we are going to teach under this trade and logistics course. The clarity on these 3 points I'll give you by the end of this session. Okay, and to cover up this I'll take 40 minutes of time, and then later on if you have any questions, you people can ask me those questions and clarify it from me. Okay, so basically this demo session is designed for 1 hour. So by 10:15 maybe we can conclude. 40 minutes of time I'll take, and 20 minutes you can take for asking your questions. Okay, so usually I'll start with a slide called what is IT. What is IT? In the sense, many people will say the abbreviation IT stands for information technology. But if you people are already working in IT, that's fine, because sometimes to my demo session graduates will attend. Okay, somehow they will be able to know this name called Dynamics 365 F&O from their neighbors or from their relatives or something like that, and they will show interest to learn this Dynamics 365. Okay, so for them, for those graduates, they are unsure about what happens in IT. Okay, so that's why I'll keep this slide. So now I'm asking you people, what are the, so my question here is, what are the operations that are being carried out in IT? So according to your view, what is IT? So if anyone would like to unmute yourself and share your view, I'm happy to listen to those, to you people.
Hey, Dutta.
Yeah, yeah, hi.
Yeah, IT is generally a team of like developers, functional people, business analyst, or you can say business analyst and project manager. Like they
Mm-hmm.
handle the whole software like 365 themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
everyone has their own set of things to do on their part,
Mm-hmm.
and they work together as a team. That is
Right.
called IT, and it contains also networking and other teams also along with it. But generally for 365 only functional people and technical people or project manager is there.
Okay. Good. So any other view from any other person? Yeah, fine. So, who is this? May I know your name? Who shared?
Yeah,
I mean,
Bhupin.
I'm just sharing Bhupen. Yeah, Bhupen. Okay, fine. So I'm sharing my screen, right? So I couldn't able to see who has unmuted and expressed their opinion. Okay, thanks, Bhupen. So yeah, you are right, and I'll share my view also. What happens in IT industry? Um, Basically, I will categorize the operations that are being carried out in IT into two categories. Okay, the first one is using the information, IT team or the team of IT will sell the technology. Okay, so I'll repeat it again. Using the information, the IT team or IT team members will sell the technology. Okay, this is one category. I'll try to explain this one. So here I'm saying that using the information, IT team is selling the technology. It means that user may I mean the information I will refer it to the business information. Okay, let's say if anyone is doing business for their business, what sort of software is required, IT team will come to know the requirement, or IT team will come to understand, and then they will provide the software for them, provide the software in the sense at some cost. So that's why I'm using the word sell. They will sell the software to that particular business, starting from let's say if you go to a medium scale hotel also, they will have some software related for billing, so which they will use for billing purpose. So that's also a software, and any maybe IT team also will design that software and to a big system like ERP. So if ERP means it will have a large scale, right? Many big companies will use that ERP software. So that ERP software will also be designed by the IT company only on the basis of the customer business information. So so they will customize the application, or they will customize the any ERP based on the customer business. So that's why I'm using the word called using the information. IT team will sell the technology. Okay, this is one category, and the second category is using the technology. This IT team or team of IT people will make wonders, and they will communicate the same to their customers also. See, so I'm explaining about the second category. So using a technology, we can create the information. Whatever the information that was created, we can store it, and whatever the information that was stored, we can retrieve that information whenever or wherever there is a need. And whatever the information that we have stored, we can transfer that information from person to person. So all these things are possible with the help of a technology. Okay, so I told you two categories, right? These are the main two mode of operations that are being carried out in IT. I mean, this is not a Google definition or something like that. This is my view on the operations that are being carried out in IT. Okay, so maybe I'm not sure you can find it in Google or not, but based on my experience, I understood that you consider any of the operations that is being carried out in IT, you can map 90% of the operations that are being carried out in IT to these two categories. Using the information, IT team will sell the technology. Using the technology, IT team will make the things done. Okay, so now these two operations will be carried out in the form of a project. So according to me, a project is a set of tasks that will be done by a set of team within the stipulated time. Definitely a project will have certain limitations with respect to the time. So within the stipulated time, if a group of people are doing certain set of tasks, we will call it as a project. Okay, so these two operations will be carried out in the form of a project. Okay, so now I'll give you an example where for the, I mean, which is relevant to these two operations, that I told you. So forget about Dynamics 365 for now. Let, I mean, everyone know MS Office, right? So this, let us think of the days, have a thought on the days where there is no MS Office. Maybe I will think in this perspective. Maybe whenever the MS Office is not there, people are in a requirement of creating some data, and whatever the data that they want to create, they want different font sizes for it, different colors, different textures, etc., etc. And whatever the information that they have created, they want to store it, and whenever they want to read it in, I mean, in future they want to retrieve the information and they want to read it, and that data what they have created, it has to be transferred to some other person. Maybe these are the requirements, I believe, that the people are having. So using these requirements, I'm referring it to the information. So using this information, so now Microsoft has brought this technology called MS Office, and now everyone is using it and everyone is well known about MS Office. Okay, so requirement is the uh, initial state of this evaluation of MS Office. So using that requirement, now MS Office was built. And coming to the second category, so using that MS Office, we are creating the information, storing the information, and retrieving and transferring the information. So we are selling the technology. Microsoft is selling the technology and making money out of it based on the technology that they have brought. Okay, so this is my view about IT. So basically I'll mention this slide because people. So now I'm the person who is going to teach you, right? So if you understand my perception, my analyzation on a specific thing, then it will help you to understand whether I can take the course from this person or not. So that's why I'll mention this slide in this uh, demo that I'll present. So the second slide is about ERP. So before knowing about ERP, so we need to, I mean, we have utmost necessary to know why we have to learn about ERP. The statement or the answer is Dynamics 365 product. We are calling it as an ERP product. Dynamics 365 itself is an ERP product. So that's why we have a need to learn about or understand about ERP. So this ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Of course, there is a definition for ERP, for Enterprise Resource Planning. But before explaining the definition of ERP, I'll take an example and I'll explain that example, and on the basis of that example, I'll tell you the definition. If I tell you the definition, then it will be of no use. You people, now you are aware of ERP. After this class, you may Google it and try to learn the definition of ERP. So that's not the purpose of putting this slide, or saying that you have there is an importance to learn about ERP. That's not the way. So I'll tell an example and then I'll tell you the definition of ERP. See, the very good example I'll take while explaining the ERP is a particular business that I'll take quite frequently is Maruti Suzuki. See, everyone know about this Maruti Suzuki company. This Maruti Suzuki company, what is their main mode of business? They are, it's a car selling company. I mean, they will sell their cars to their customers. So this is their main theme of business. They are selling. They used to sell cars. Okay, now I call this product called car as a finished product. Okay, so why I'm calling it as finished product? Because they are manufacturing that product called car using many raw materials. Okay, so using those raw materials, now they are manufacturing a product called car, and that car they are selling it to the customers. Okay, so that's why I'm calling this car as a finished product. Now think in the perspective of Maruti Suzuki company. So in order to deliver a particular car to a customer, in the background they will have a set of team, and that members are doing different tasks assigned to them. So if those tasks are done by them, then only a particular product called car can be handed over to the customer. Okay, so now in the perspective of Maruti Suzuki business, they will have, in order to made a product called car, definitely they will have a procurement team. What this procurement team will do, they will, the work of the procurement team is to procure the raw materials that are required for the manufacturing of the product called car. Okay, so this is the, so Maruti Suzuki need a procurement team, and now this procurement team will purchase the raw materials. Right now, whatever the raw materials that are purchased, those raw materials should be placed in a particular place in a structured way. So they need a warehouse for it. Okay, and in order to do the operations in the warehouse and to maintain the stock levels, they need a certain team. So they need warehouse management team or and inventory management team. It's a separate department. Okay, now let us assume the raw materials are procured, and once after the receive the delivery, they are stored in a proper way in the warehouse. Now whenever there is a need in the production floor, that certain, I mean, that amount of stock should be moved to the production floor for the manufacturing of the car. Now this manufacturing activity will be taken care by a set of team. So they need a separate team of members or a department called manufacturing team who will take up the production and all. Okay, so Maruti Suzuki is in need of a manufacturing team as well. So now let us assume the car was ready, and so now Maruti Suzuki has to attract the customers, right? So they need a marketing team for that. Now this marketing team may do some certain campaigns, or depending on the marketing strategies, they will market this product, and they Maruti Suzuki will bring the customers. Okay, and now let us assume the customer, the few people, I mean, the customers are also ready to buy the product, and now in order to give a hassle-free or a very good experience, sales experience to the customer, a sales team is required. Okay, because if a particular person is having a good experience, good sales experience, then only that person will uh, refer that experience, I mean, car to other, or refer that car or refer that company to other people. So then only their sales will be increased. So it's the responsibility of the company to give good sales experience. So Maruti Suzuki need a sales team for that. Now after sales, maybe it's a car, right? Though, so company has to provide service for that as well. They need a service team as well. So these many teams are working, and these many people are working. So definitely human resource department is required, because each and every person will have their own talent. So that what, as the company has hired that particular person, it's the responsibility of the company to make use of that talent for their organizational needs. So definitely human resource department will be there. And as I told you, these many teams are there. Definitely salaries has to be given to the people. So definitely a payroll team will be there. Okay, so and along with that, finance team will be there. Some people in few companies, they will divide the finance team into two: accounts payable team and accounts receivable team. Accounts payable team will take care of the uh, payable amounts. That is, let's say if raw materials are procured by the procurement team, so the company has to
Basically
pay a certain
vendors.
amount to the vendors, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, any question?
No, no, no. I was saying that basically vendors you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So company has to pay some amount to the vendors for procuring the raw material. So that actions, the payment amount will be taken care by the accounts payable team, and similarly they will have accounts receivable team as well. This team will take care of the amount that company has to get from the customers. So these are the teams that are associated, and these many, I mean, people under these teams will work together for the development of the organization, right? So now, so far I told you that what are the departments that a particular company may contain, taking Maruti Suzuki as an example. Okay, so now this manufacturing of a car is not a one time activity. So in order to meet the demand, or in order to meet the customer needs, uh, n number of cars will be manufactured in a particular year in the company. So it's a repetitive process, not a one time process. So the procurement team also, they have to procure the raw materials in a frequent manner. For, let's say, Maruti Suzuki is manufacturing some 1 lakh units of cars in a particular year. So for 1 lakh units, how many raw materials are required? They will not purchase in one go, because if those many raw materials are purchased, they need to maintain very big warehouses in order to store all those raw materials. So it will be practically not possible. So depending on the production capacity, let's say in a particular month, if the manufacturing, I mean, if Maruti Suzuki is capable of manufacturing 10,000 units for that particular month, maybe the procurement team also will purchase the what are the raw materials and how much quantity of raw materials are required for manufacturing 10,000 units of cars. So only that sort of quantity reserves will be maintained by the company. And once after the cycle is going to be completed, so uh, keeping the buffer timings in mind, they will go for another set of purchase creation. So it means what I'm trying to say here is this purchasing process is a repetitive process that procurement team will do. And now, for this repetitive procedure, it's quite a impossible thing for a human mind or to remember all those things. Let's say if 100 items you are adding in a purchase order, it means 100 raw materials you are purchasing. And each raw material, if you are purchasing some thousands of quantity, okay, then it will be impossible for a human to remember all those things in mind and to maintain offline records for all those things. So that's why there is a need for the procurement team to maintain a system for it, and that particular system should record the purchase order at a time. I mean, to whom, with which vendor the purchase order is created, and how many items are there in that purchase order, and how much quantity was there against each purchase order, and whether vendor has supplied all the quantity or not, or if there is any mismatch in the quantity that you have ordered and the vendor has supplied. So in order to maintain all these things, a procurement team need a software support for that. Similarly, the sales team also, they are, in order to record the sales that company has performed, they also need a software support for that. Similarly, the inventory management and warehouse management team, how much quantity was coming in and how much quantity was going out, okay, and what are the operations that are being carried out in warehouse. For those people also, they also need a system support for that. Similarly, with the marketing team, if any campaigns are conducted, how many people attended that campaign, and in order to obviously they will take the personal information of that particular person who attended the camp. Personal information means their mobile number and email ID, because they will follow up with that particular customer, and they will convert that particular lead to a customer. Okay, so for them also they need a software support for that. Similarly, HR departments also, to maintain the employee leave absent, I mean employee leave management, I mean absence management and employee benefits, all those things to maintain, they need also system support for that. So similarly, after service, I mean after sales service also. So uh, let's say if a particular customer came to the company for service, so what was the service that customer has requested, so how much it costs. So in order to maintain all those things, they also need a system support for that. So now each and every team have their own requirements or their own needs in asking for a system support, or a system support for that to maintain their work, or to go with their work, or to process their work in the system. So now what ERP will do, ERP will consider all the needs of different departments of the company, and the ERP will bring all those needs to one particular platform, and it will provide a solution. Okay. So if you go and search in Google also, it will be some, in some websites it will be mentioned ERP itself is a software. So I'm little against to that particular statement. ERP is not a software. ERP will provide solution through a software. Okay, so this is what my understanding is. ERP will provide solution through a software. One such software or application is Dynamics 365. Okay, so the definition of ERP is ERP will consider all the requirements or the needs of all the departments of the company, and it will provide a solution by bringing all those requirements to one particular platform, and the solution will be provided. So this is what the definition that you can read out in Google also. Okay, but I told you, right, ERP, some websites will mention ERP itself is a software. If ERP itself is a software, then Microsoft has named it their software also with their tagline called Microsoft ERP. They can mention that like that, right? So uh, ERP will provide a solution through a software. This is what my understanding on ERP. Okay, so Now you people have get some clarity, right? What is ERP and why we are calling Dynamics 365 as an ERP? And now you should have, by this time you should get some idea that okay, Microsoft D365 can be used for these many operations, because purchasing is one operation, maintaining product is one operation, sales is one operation, and marketing is one operation, human resource is one operation, payroll is one operation, and finance, accounts payable and accounts receivable, those are again two different operations. So for these many operation handling, we can use Dynamics 365. Okay, so our Dynamics 365 finance and operations is capable of providing solutions for these many requirements of a particular business. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next slide. So I just gave you an introduction on ERP and for what is the usage of this Dynamics 365 so far, and then I'm moving to the next question called what will be your role and what will be your responsibilities associated with your role after learning this particular course, right? And so that's why I have mentioned this slide. And as I told you, each and every operation that is being carried out in IT, it will be handled in a way, or handled in a way called project. Okay, so each and every set of tasks, they will consider it as a project. Okay, so now what are the different phases of the project? So it all starts with the planning, and then the analysis phase, and then the design and development, testing and deployment, maintenance. So now these different phases are there. I'll explain you what happens in each and every phase. Maybe you people also know some, have some clarity on this, but I'll just repeat. Just I'll briefly explain you about what happen, each and every what we will do. We, in the sense, the people in the IT will do under each and every phase. So here, before that, after learning this particular course called Dynamics 365 Trade and Logistics, you will become a functional consultant. Your designation will be a function, will be called functional consultant. Of course, there will be senior, junior, I mean like that, associate, associate functional consultant, functional consultant, senior functional consultant, lead functional consultant, functional manager. These are the different roles. But at any point of time, this word called functional will be there. So you will become functional consultant after learning this course. Once after you get a job on Dynamics 365 domain, I mean that is ERP domain under Dynamics 365 application, you will become functional consultant. Now, as a functional consultant, what are your responsibilities considering the phases of the project? Now, under this analysis phase, so a functional consultant has to go to the customer premises, and they have to understand the requirement. It means that once the project is awarded to the company, let's say if a particular customer is looking for an ERP solution called Dynamics 365, you have to go to the customer and you need to understand why they are looking for a ERP solution. Then only you will be able to understand, then only you will be able to give your 100% to the customer. Because if you know the, I mean, if you know the problem, then you can provide the solution, right? So each and every company, they will not invest crores of money on taking the license of ERP product. There will be a need for them in and I mean there will be, definitely there will be a need for them. Why they are going, they are investing that crores of money in taking the license of Dynamics 365? So you need to understand that, then only you will be able to provide you, or you will be able to give your 100% for providing solution on Dynamics 365 through Dynamics 365. So in this analysis phase, a functional consultant has to go to the premises of customer, and they have to understand the business process of the customer, how they are handling the purchases, how they are handling the sales, how they are handling the marketing scenarios. Everything will be, you have, functional consultant has to ask, and they need to understand. Now, let's say if you are asking about the purchasing part, let's say if you are asking me, you have to ask the customer how they are handling the purchases scenario. Okay, I mean purchases scenario in the sense how they are handling the purchases in the system. Accordingly, if after knowing the business process, how the company is handling the purchases, if you are able to provide a solution through Dynamics 365, okay, then it is fine. Otherwise, you need to go for the customization. So I'll just take a break and I'll explain you few more things, at this particular point. So I told you that you have to ask about the how the customer is handling the purchases, and you have to provide solution through Dynamics 365. So how you will be able to provide the solution through Dynamics 365? If you should be in a position of providing solution through Dynamics 365, first of all you should know what is the feature that Dynamics 365 is providing for purchases. Okay, if you know that, then only you will be able to suggest that solution of Dynamics 365 to your customer. It means that you have to understand what are the features that exist in Dynamics 365 under purchasing management. You should know that. Then only you will be able to suggest that solution to your customer for their business operations. Right. So that's why you have to learn the product first, and that is what we are teaching in our. I mean, as a part of this course, we are explaining you about the product, the product Dynamics 365 F&O product, considering the trade and logistics functional area. Okay. So now, customer has given you the requirement, and I mean a set of requirements for purchasing scenarios. You 80% of the requirements you will be able to provide the solution to Dynamics 360. However, the remaining 20% requires some customizations. So that customization also should be done by the functional consultant only, and you have to design how that solution you are providing for. I mean, what is your approach for providing solution to the requirement given by the customer? So a functional consultant has to design it. So I'll tell an example here. Forget about the Dynamics 365 now. So let's say you all know about Gmail, right? So customer has given a requirement that I need a login page, and my each and every user will be provided with unique credentials. They have to enter their credentials and they have to log in into the page. So this was the requirement given by you. Now, as a functional consultant, what you have to do, you have to create a page for login. So we call it as login page. In that login page, you have to design in such a way that at the center of the page there will be two rectangular boxes should be available. So on top of one box, uh, there should be a word called username, and on top of the second box should be another name called password. So these are the two names that should be available, username and password. So now below the two boxes there should be a word called forget password, and it should be a hyperlink, and after clicking on that link, user should be routed to another page. So this sort of visualization you should have, and this is how you have to design that particular login page. Okay, so and again, if the person has entered the correct username and password, then only the person should be entered into the next page of Gmail. Otherwise, an error should be popped up that saying that the username or password is wrong. So this is how you have to design your page based on the requirement. So now I took the example of Gmail as I mean, Dynamics 365 is not known to you at this moment. So I took the example of Gmail. Similarly, if you know, I mean, you have to understand the product, and whatever the requirement that customer has given you, you should design that particular, I mean, you should provide the solution by designing a solution approach for it. So the design also should be done by the functional consultant only. Okay, so and this development will be done by the technical consultant. Development in the sense some code has to be written for the customization that you want to do for your customer. Okay, so it's the responsibility of the functional consultant to discuss with technical consultant and get the work done. Okay, and after development testing will be done, code testing will be done by the technical consultant, whereas functional testing should be done by the functional consultant. Functional testing in the sense, now we have certain requirements, right? Login page, you have designed something that two boxes should be available at the center, and that it was available at the center or not. This will be one test case. And on the top of first box, username should be popped up, username is populating or not. And on top of second box, password should be, word should populate, it is populating or not. And forget password, upon clicking on that forget password, system is routing you to the next page or not. So each and every design step that you have written, that step will become a test case for you. This sort of testing also should be done by the functional consultant only. This is the responsibility of functional consultant only. Okay, this deployment will be done by the technical consultant, and maintenance in the sense once after the project went live. So of course, as the users don't know about the Dynamics 365, it's the responsibility of the functional consultant to uh, assist them with the process that they have to do on Dynamics 365. And if they are facing any errors, it's the responsibility of the functional consultant to solve those errors for them. So in a particular project, okay, so these are the phases exist, and under these phases, I explained the responsibility of a functional consultant. Okay, so as I told you, there will be two verticals in IT: functional and technical. Functional consultant and technical consultant, if they work together, it will lead to a successful uh, project. Okay, and then about Dynamics 365, I have mentioned something here to streamline the operations, enhance customer, make data driven, improve efficiency. I have mentioned something like that. But my question to you people: why a particular company will invest crores of money uh, for buying the license of an ERP product like Dynamics 365? And I'm asking you the question: why company will invest crores of money and take the license of Dynamics 365? I'll explain. So, why people will invest crores of money here is, uh,
Sorry, Tata,
so
I
my
was busy. So, did you ask any question?
yes, yes. I asked. My question is, of
Hmm.
course, for taking the license of an ERP product like Dynamics 365, company has to invest some crores of money. I mean,
Yes.
for the customization of a product
Hmm.
according to their business requirements and taking the license, they have to invest crores of money on that. So why
Yeah.
they will invest crores of money in taking the license of Dynamics 365?
Is to basically streamline their processes only because it's all over the place. Sometimes they are running on QuickBooks, or sometimes they are only running on Microsoft Excel, and they want to shift their business so that they can streamline their business and maximize their profit, and understand the finance area and how they can do more investment. So that's why maybe generally they implement 365 or other ERP softwares.
Correct, correct. So I'll tell the same in my own way. So my view actually. So any company will take the license of any ERP product. It's not only Dynamics 365, any of the ERP product, uh, because keeping in mind about their finances in the sense, let's say if they are not getting the revenue that they have expected, it means that somehow there are some loopholes in the company. So because of that, they will take this, I mean, license of Dynamics 365. It means that whatever the amount, that revenue that they are expecting, they are not getting it. In order to have better finances, they will take the license of ERP. Okay, so better finances, when better finances are possible, better finances are possible only when they have proper structured and streamlined operations. Okay, so structured and streamlined operations in sense, they have a structured or a proper purchase operations. They should have streamlined sales operations, marketing operations, etc., etc. So better finances are possible only then when they have better or a proper streamlined operations. So if they have streamlined operations, then obviously they will have better financial outcome. So company will take the license of Dynamics 365. I mean, basically, the main everything is, end of the day, they will look after the amount or the income or the gain that they have through their business, right? So if they are not getting the expected of financial outcome, in order to get the expected outcome, they will take the license of Dynamics 365. Okay, so that is what I mentioned here. Dynamics 365 is an enterprise resource planning solution developed by Microsoft, and it will be used for streamline operations, enhance improve efficiency, gain real-time insights. So these are some of the uses of, I mean, for after using the Dynamics 365, what you are going to achieve. So, or you by, if you want to go for the purchase of license of Dynamics 365, what is the thing that company is going to get. This is what they are going to. They can streamline their operations. They can make data driven decisions. This is what they can do. Okay. So now, giving some more information on the course that you are going to learn. So we are offering you a course on Dynamics 365 Trade and Logistics. So under this Trade and Logistics, we are covering the four areas majorly: purchase management, sales management, inventory management, and product management. These are the four areas that we are going to cover under Trade and Logistics. Okay, so these four areas, again, Dynamics 365 contains many of the modules. We call it as modules in Dynamics 365. A certain area we call it as a module. Let's say under purchases, we have two modules: accounts payable and procurement and sourcing. These are the two modules that we are going to cover. And for sales, we have another two modules: accounts receivable and sales and marketing. These are the two modules that we are going to cover. And for inventory management, we have one module. The name of the module itself is inventory management. And for product, we have another module which is with the name product information management. So these are the six modules that we are going to cover as a part of our trade and logistic training. Okay, you know that Microsoft, the name of the product is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. This particular course will come under the operation area. So this trade and logistics is under operations area. And under this trade and logistics course, these are the six modules that we are going to cover, and we have a curriculum for that. So as Visualpath has asked you your email ID and contact number, uh, they will, I mean, they will give you that curriculum to you what we are going to cover under this trade and logistics training. So whatever that keep with respect to the topics that we have there, whatever the topics that are mentioned in that particular curriculum, those topics are under these six modules. Okay, so we have a curriculum and we will follow that particular curriculum for the training. Okay, so the topics are under these six modules. Along with these six modules, uh, we will cover few more things which are not there in the curriculum also. So those things are, we will explain you the uh, basic financial setup that you have to do in the system. Because in order to complete a transaction in the system, uh, to its last step, we need to have an understanding on the basic financial setup also. That is will not be mentioned in the curriculum, but we will cover that basic financial setup also. For that, we will touch another module called general ledger module. Okay, so I'll explain you about that basic financial setup. Apart from this, there are other two modules called organization and administration, system administration, and then human resource. So we will not exclusively or detailedly discuss about this, but we will touch it to some extent, considering our curriculum. So, first of all, in order to do a particular transaction in the system, some basic setup has to be done. So, that basic setup, we will do it in organization and administration and system administration modules. And for certain transaction approvals and all, we will touch this human resource module as well. I'll just give you, it will be a very, very basic brief on those modules. Okay, so six modules we will discuss in detail, and three other modules we will touch it. Those are general ledger, um, organization administration, system administration, and human resources. Only one particular topic we have to touch, that human resource module, to have an understanding what is what. Okay, so this is our training structure and training agenda. These are the four areas: purchase management, sales management, product management, and product information management, and inventory management. These are the four areas that we are going to cover under this trade and logistics training. Okay, and I told you that you people will be provided with the curriculum, right? For that curriculum, we need a minimum of 50 hours, and 50 to 60 hours is the time that we need in order to complete that particular course. Complete the particular curriculum. So, as this is a weekday batch, Monday to Friday we will take 1 hour per day. So it will take around 2.5 to 3 months for completing this particular course. So I have a track record of completing the class in 50 hours. minimum. I mean, the maximum time I took for completing the training batch is 57 hours. So it will take a minimum of 50 hours and maximum of 60. So 50 to 60 hours of is required for completing that particular curriculum. Okay, that we are going to give you under this trade and logistics training area. So any other questions you have? I'm happy to take.
Yeah, the one question I have, are we going to discuss like after like every class, are we going to discuss like the new things that are coming inside the feature management for SEM?
Cyber feature management.
Yeah,
Uh,
feature
no.
management, where in the feature management nowadays, like in 10.0.40, there are new things that are coming inside, or like in the previous one, there are new things that are coming inside, like landed cost module and how it is getting affected with the SCM.
No, those topics are not there in our curriculum because that the application that we are going to project in the class is 10.0.37. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we will, I mean, we have a curriculum for that. I mean, whatever the curriculum that we have in covering the trade and logistics, we are I mean, we will stick to that particular curriculum. And in the cyber management feature and this landed cost nowadays, it's a separate module that we have. So
Yeah.
this landed cost module we are not going to cover in this training.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay. So if there are any other questions, you may reach out to Visualpath executive. So if required, they will arrange a conference call with me. And if you have any questions at that time, you can discuss with me and clarify your questions, doubts, etc., etc. So if there are no questions, we can conclude the session for today. Okay. Shall we conclude? Okay. So we will conclude this session here as there are no doubts. But still, if you get any questions or doubts, you may reach out to Visual Path Executive, and they will clarify your. If the question that you have, if they can clarify you, they will clarify, or else they will arrange a conference call with you. Okay. Thank you.